This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Well, let's get back to it.
What was that? It was something about laying a hedge.
Disgusting.
Keep it clean. Blistering winds and 5 days of snow are set to send temperatures plunging across Britain this week.
Oh, no.
At least everyone's got their electricity back on after deadly Storm Arwen, though. In other news, thousands of vulnerable people are still without power following deadly Storm Arwen.
What?
The latest weather data is predicting 5 consecutive days of snow set to start right now, I mean it, with much of it falling over higher ground in the north of the country. Areas set to be most affected include, but are not limited to, North Yorkshire, Eastern England and Lincolnshire. Wherever that is. One forecast predicts a harsh overnight wind chill could plunge some areas to as low as minus 11 centigrade. And you double it and add 32 to get Fahrenheit. But as any fool know, you can't double a minus number, which means it's so cold that the temperature literally does not exist in Her Majesty's Fahrenheit. That's how cold it is. Meanwhile, there are concerns for the thousands of people in northern England and Scotland who are still living without power 8 days after Storm Arwen caused massive network damage to parts of global Britain. We will take on the world and vanquish any foe. We will turn the map pink again and rule the ocean waves just as soon as we can get some electricity to put a light on and make a cup of tea. The latest national figures show that around 9,200 homes are without power, but on the plus side it will be almost freezing inside, but the sleet and the rain will be mostly outside.
Yeah.
Ofgem announced on Friday it was launching a review. It's okay, everybody. A government body is launching a review.
Fabulous.
Some texts and emails from last night. Patrick says, I'm waiting for Boris to release his festive single, It's My Party, and I can lie if I want to. Liar! Lee says, 57 billion for an app? That's berserk. Spaceships to Mars cost a fraction of that. That is actually true. I think it's about a tenth. You can get a spaceship to Mars for a tenth of the price of a phone app for the test and trace system that still doesn't work, Bodge.
Contact tracing, contact tracing.
Oh, give it up, you're never going to get it. Declan emails, that tree reminds me of my bank. Most of its branches are gone. Yeah, I'll talk about that in a minute. That is a sad example of a tree. Boo! Thanks a lot, Norway. Kevin says, surely the answer is a shredder next to the ballot box. Or in it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I'm quite certain that it has occurred to conservative minds. Let's just stick a shredder in the ballot box in, I don't know, all of London, perhaps. Londoners keep making the same mistake over and over again. Sue emails, I'd like to see Tory MPs strapped to a lie detector when they appear in interviews or question time, etc. And every time they tell a porky, it makes a loud beeping sound. Wouldn't that be fun? I've got something funner than that, Sue. How about a large electrical charge? Or a giant spike spring-loaded in their seat, perhaps. Peter says most people couldn't care less about the party at number 10. They were too concerned with paying their utility bills, filling their cars with fuel to get to work and putting food on the table. It's a story for you shower within the Westminster bubble. Yeah, that's right. I'm in the Westminster bubble. What are you talking about, Peter? It's indicative of the problems that we face with the people that are running us. They lie and 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 they lie. And they don't follow any of the rules that we could get fined into a black hole in space for not following. But you're not concerned about that because you think that, the dear leader is legal, decent, honest and true. Another cultist. Dan says, people like to say that if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. I think it's the opposite. If you have voted, you have no right to complain. You are the ones that voted in these dishonest and incompetent politicians in the first place. Well, that's a good point, Dan. People knew what they were voting for. Dishonest and incompetent politicians. What do you say about that, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Jonathan texts, surely the London Christmas tree is Sadiq Khan's fault, but you will probably blame Boris. The tree in Trump Towers also looks great, but you don't mention that. Best tree ever. Nobody ever saw such a green tree. It's the greenest tree that anybody ever saw. Everybody says that. They say, sir, it's such a green tree. It's fantastic. Jason says, Nick, the tree from Norway is a Norwegian spruce, traditionally decorated with vertical lights in Norway. Yeah, but we're not in Norway, are we? They actually always look rather sparse with fewer branches and shorter needles. It's a gift from Norway after all, he says. The tree in New York is a Douglas fir, more luscious, with more branches and longer needles, but not grown in Norway. Right. Well, okay, if it's a present and they can't get the good stuff themselves, then they should have it shipped in. Get Douglas fir on the phone right now. Seriously, I'll say it again. If you want to see what a proper Christmas tree looks like, look at the big thing that they got in the Rockefeller Center in New York. It's amazing. Just like it should be on Jesus' birthday. Paul says the funniest thing about this party last year is how they keep putting people who weren't invited to defend the double standard on TV. How did Boris Johnson keep a straight face when he cancelled Christmas 2020 for the rest of the nation 2 days after his party? I don't know. Psychopathic tendencies? You tell me. Kim texts, Nick, my Christmas dinner is sumptuous. Sumptuous? What? Splendid and expensive looking? Get you with your splendid dinner, Kim. Not many more to go before they start filling in from today. Oh, that's actually started already. Are these from today now? Where is he? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Are these from today now?
I don't know.
Hello? You don't know? You're the only person that's working on this show apart from me. Oh my God, we're like a rudderless ship. This boat's going down. Yeah, where were we? Christmas dinner sumptuous. Caroline texts, Cressida will confirm that all the rules of the drinking game at number 10 were fully observed.
Booze.
Exactly. Sean says, is that the best Keir Starmer can come up with, a party a year ago? All they do is criticise. If they have all the answers, why didn't they say when COVID first broke out? They are pathetic, says Sean. Yeah, another one of these cult fans who think that Boris is doing his best. Oh, he's doing his best. Yeah, okay, bedtime. And I think that's it. I've wiped them all up from yesterday. I'm doing very well. Right, the Christmas tree. Or should I take a break? God, all this time I've wasted. These messages, they keep coming. How do they get my address is what I can't understand. All right, I'll do a few more. I'll get ahead of myself, and then I'll do the Christmas tree. John says, Boris Johnson, all-round entertainer. Any distraction will do. Well, he is an all-round entertainer, if that's what you mean. Simon says, just shows the world we live in. 3,000 people complain to the Metropolitan Police, who are vastly underfunded and under-resourced, to investigate a party just so they can embarrass Boris Johnson and the Tory government. Don't the Met and other police forces have more important things to investigate? We're talking about a mountain of dead people here, Simon. How the country addresses the various rules and regulations that are just chucked out of number 10 very much depends on how number 10 addresses those rules and regulations themselves. They are rather undermining their message. And the message is vital to save lives at the moment. Get it? But he's doing his best. Derek says, please give our brave leader, Boris Johnson, a break. Oh, God, not another one. He's led us through the pandemic. Well, I'm hoping there's a wide streak of sarcasm going through this. Let's find out. He's led us through the pandemic, delivered Brexit, and ensured economic prosperity for all. Yeah, okay, I think the jury is in. Sarcasma fairly reeking of it. And he's done all this while raising a young family, a devoted husband and father, an example to all, says Derek. Yeah. Good one, Derek. I can't wait till, chucks all of his clothes out the window at number 10. And he comes back and they're all in the street. There can only be moments. Just a matter of days. Bradley texts, played a memory game at a baby shower today. I had to stop myself from asking if there were extra points for getting it in order.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
That's what I heard. I thought you get extra points if you get it in order.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
This is LBC with Nick Abbot. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we're doing a radio show, but it does remind me that I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? In which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while not laughing too much. Now, we're not mind readers, so if you want us to solve your problem, you're going to have to send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. That's nickandcarol@global.com, and prepare for a certain amount of satisfaction. Ask for it where you get good podcasts. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? And in the most recent one, there's What Not to Tell Your Boss, a somewhat alarming story. And we may not have helped very much, but then I think that that particular person was beyond help. But it is, if you are in any doubt what not to tell your boss at a Christmas party, then it's all in there. Believe me. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Get it on an internet near you. Let's have a call in Camden. Oh, Claire?
Hi, Nick.
Claire.
Hi. I just want to say something about the tree. You're being a locust.
A locust?
Locust.
Oh, locust. Yes. Yeah, that's right.
If somebody gave you as a present a pet who is a bit
ugly, an ugly pet. Yeah.
Yeah, a pet who is a bit
ugly. Not a looker.
Maybe not ugly, but has some
defect.
Like has
three eyes, like a dog with gills, that sort of thing.
One leg less or something.
Longer than the others, yeah.
A bit disabled.
Mm-hmm. Its back legs have been removed, and somebody's put on wheels. Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't give it back because it's a...
Why? It's not going to offend the dog.
It's a matter of being kind to another
right.
soul.
I see.
Be polite!
Is that what you mean?
And this tree has sacrificed itself. It has...
I don't think the tree committed suicide. I think that tree was murdered.
Yeah, but in any case, it has allowed people to sacrifice itself.
No, that's not actually. That's not accurate. That's not accurate. No, that's not true. What could it have done to prevent it? I mean, it couldn't have run away, could it? It didn't allow itself to be sacrificed. There's nothing it could have done about it.
It could have simulated a storm around itself, and to chase away the people with the axe.
You've been watching Harry Potter too much. That's fiction. Real trees don't act like that.
I haven't watched.
You've never watched Harry Potter? Why
No.
not? What are you going to watch this Christmas? What Christmas-themed event are you going to be watching this Christmas?
I don't know.
What? Think.
There are films about animals.
Animals? Well, what kind of film about animals? Flipper.
There was a film called Beethoven, as far as I know.
A film called what?
Beethoven.
Bit of him? Which bit?
Beethoven.
Oh, Beethoven. The Music Man. Right.
Not about the Music Man.
About a dog. A dog called Beethoven.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would you want to watch that?
Do you want me to watch films about masked people who are masked even when they're not wearing masks?
What would that be?
I don't know.
No, well, neither do I. You're just making it up now. Yeah, okay. I want you to watch that, if you can find such a thing. No, I want you to watch Harry Potter. It's very Christmassy. You'll love it, Claire.
It's full of made up names.
Yeah.
Which are just randomly gathered from all over the world.
Yeah. Claire, it's a film that is factually accurate. Trust me. It all happened based on a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the imagination of somebody.
Of somebody, yeah. We don't really know who wrote it. It's lost in the mists of time. But whoever it was, I'm sure he's very good. All right, thanks a lot, Claire. There's more?
Case,
yeah, there's more. Yeah.
In any case,
yeah.
the tree is... I wouldn't give it back.
No, because that would be impolite. Yeah, they wouldn't want it back. I mean, they were desperate to get rid of it. I mean, just look at it.
It would cause distress to the tree.
To the tree. Yeah, it's like a reject tree. Yeah, imagine how upset that tree would be.
Yeah.
Good point, Claire. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, cheers, my dear. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. Norwegians have hit back at criticism of their annual Christmas tree gift to Britain after Londoners described it as scrawny and half dead. Yeah, thanks a lot, Norway. Boo! See what you've done? Bemused visitors to Trafalgar Square have been expressing their disappointment. They're not upset, they're just disappointed. After the famous tree arrived in the capital looking a bit worse for wear, like it had been dragged here behind a lorry, not carried here on one. What does a lorry sound like, Bodge? Very good. Complaints have included that the 78-foot tall Norwegian spruce looked half-eaten and hung over. I hadn't thought about that. It does look a bit hungover.
Booze.
This was ahead of the official lighting ceremony, during which a disinterested council employee chucked a single string of lights that they found in a skip and that have been using for the past 10 years over it and called it a day.
Oh, fabulous.
Terrible lights. Why do they always use the same blooming lights? It's just like one string just chucked at it. I'll say it again. Look at the tree that New York has in the Rockefeller Center. It's the best Christmas tree in the world ever. And this sad example that we've got as our national tree, well, it's just pathetic. No offence. And as you can imagine, Norway has apologised and confirmed that there has been a mix-up and they're sending over a better one. No, they doubled down.
What?
Yeah. Norwegians have now defended the tree and have questioned what the UK has given them in return. Lars from Oslo told the Times newspaper, all the British gave us last Christmas was the Kent variant. If they don't want the tree, then we can come and get it back. The mayor of Oslo, Marianne Borgen, said it was a gift of love between the two countries. Right, that's it. Alert Marc Francois to fix bayonets. We're going to invade Norway. Wherever that is. The mayor of Oslo said, people complain all the time. In 2019, I was told it looked like a cucumber. Yeah, that's right. So you sent us a worse one as punishment. The mayor of Oslo said, in the end, the tree is not really a tree at all. It's a symbol of solidarity and friendship. It comes from the forest that embraces Oslo on all sides. So while it might arrive with injuries, it remains a gift of love. Right, that's it. It's war. The Norwegian spruce has been an annual gift to the people of London from Oslo each year since 1947 as a token of gratitude for British support for Norway during the Second World War. Well, this one looks like they cut it down in 1947. The Mayor of Oslo, Ms. Borgen, was joined by Andrew Smith, the Lord Mayor of Westminster. Last month in Oslo, for the ceremony to cut down the Christmas tree so that it could be transported to London before the lights were switched on in a ceremony this week. So the actual Lord Mayor of London, Andrew Smith, was there when they cut it down. Couldn't he have said something? I mean, if he was in a garden centre and they tried to palm him off with some shriveled stump, he'd have said, "Can we see a better one? Not that one." You had one job, Andrew Smith. If that is indeed your name, sounds like an alias to me. The Mayor of Oslo, Marianne Borgen, said, "I am pleased that people are passionate. It's a sign that Londoners care about the present we have sent them. The tree comes from a forest," she said. "Yeah, we know that. And we are passionate. We passionately hate it." She said, "This is a love tree, and it means a lot to us to give it to Londoners. Though it started as a thank you to the British people for their help during World War II, it's now as much about friendship and solidarity and hope for the future and peace." Well, that sounds like a declaration of hostilities to me. She says the tree symbolises all of this, and I hope that when the lights are turned on, the symbolic message behind the gift is what people have in mind. Yeah, the message we have in mind is, can we get our tree from Denmark next time? Maybe do a whip round for some lights. A couple of thousand should do it. Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be able to see it from space. You could miss that if you were hugging it. Onlookers gathered on Thursday this week at the base of the tree for the lighting ceremony attended by the Lord Mayor of Westminster and the Mayor of Oslo. And the crowd said with one voice,
"Oh, fabulous."
Is that it? By the way, the New Year's fireworks are cancelled again.
Oh, no.
Again, yeah. For the first time ever, Trafalgar Square is going to host a ticketed New Year event, including, but not limited to, live music, stage performers, food stalls, and a large screens showing the live broadcast, which right-wingers have already complained is woke, without having seen it yet or knowing anything about it. I mean, last time they had fireworks and a light show just for TV, and the frothing indignation from the usual Dad's Army types was comical. They actually used blue and yellow in the fireworks. EU colours, they whined.
Stop whining.
So there was a white New Year's. Snowflakes everywhere. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbot, LBC. I should just say at this point that this show and the Friday show gets stuck up the internet as a podcast. We take the news and the ads out, which means it takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and you won't have to sell a kidney to pay your fuel bill. Ask for it by name on an internet near you. Nick Abbot, the whole show. Oh, look at the time. It's 10:30. The news headlines on LBC with Zora Silliman.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
He is a very sick and dangerous man.
0345 6060 973. Croydon. Hello, Patricia.
Hello?
Patricia.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking of the way we were talking about the Christmas tree that Norway gives.
Mm.
I think it's awful. That was a gift.
Yes. Terrible
gratitude.
gift. Very,
You
very
have
bad
no
gift.
clue.
Awful gift. You're quite right. I agree with you.
That is not the way you speak.
That's no
feel
kind of
sorry
gift
for
to give a
anyone.
country. Dreadful. You're quite right.
You don't compare it to America, please, or wherever else. And the worst thing was, maybe you should have one from Denmark instead.
Yeah, they would be better. Anywhere else would be good. Let's get one from Saudi Arabia next time.
So who cares? Do not
treat a gift like that?
Yeah, you shouldn't give a gift like that. Exactly.
But they give a gift which is available that year. They can't help how that tree grows.
What? That's the best tree in Norway?
Yeah, maybe. No, this is the sort of person you are, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, I think it's awful.
It is a dreadful tree. You're quite right, Patricia. But be fair, it is a gift.
Okay, bye.
Thanks. Another satisfied customer. 0345 6060 973. Pete texts, how do you know a politician is lying? His mouth is moving. Is your mouth moving, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Hard to tell. Will says, come on, Nick, don't be so ungrateful. It's a gift, says Will. Christmas tree seller from Sutton. Sutton? Well, that's not too far away. Can you get here straight away? There's a big gap in Trafalgar Square we need filling. Michelle says, rather than people ice skating by the tree, as they do in New York, in Trafalgar Square you're more likely to see piles of vomit and rivers of urine and the odd unconscious person after too much Lambrini.
Booze.
Huh. She's a local. Let's have Croydon. Simon.
Hi, Nick.
Simon.
Hi, I want to discuss about the tree. So my question is this, I wondered what kind of music the guy who picked up the tree from the forest in Norway was playing on the way back to the airport or to the docks.
Happiness. Yeah.
But the reason I say this is because I have 3 plants. Well, I used to have 3 plants. I used to have a rubber plant and a cheese plant, and I still have my spider plants. Now, when I play rock music, my rubber plant used to perk up. And when I played dance music, my cheese plant used to perk up. Me spider plants enjoyed all kinds of music. Since then, my cheese plant and my rubber plant have died, but my spider plants are still going very strong. So I wonder what the driver was playing on the way back.
Well, that's an excellent question, Simon. Leave it with me, and I'll have a full report on your desk first thing in the morning. How does that sound?
That sounds brilliant.
All right,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Simon. 0345 6060 973. That sounds like the sort of thing that Prince Charles would be into, playing music for plants. Stu texts, you're old enough to remember Mr. Ben off the telly. Do you think Boris watched it too? I don't know. I don't really understand the reference. Mr. Ben, isn't he the bloke with the top, with not a top hat, it's a bowler hat? I can't remember what he did. What did Mr. Ben do, glamorous assistant? Yes?
Hello?
Hello?
We don't know. Margaret texts, let's hope Donald Trump becomes president again, as your Boris bashing is becoming tiresome, says Margaret. Margaret, I think, reading between the lines there, what's actually occurring is that you voted for Boris Johnson and believed all of his fantastical claims. Liar! And you're becoming, it is becoming increasingly difficult to continue to support him. Are you beginning to feel like you've been had, Margaret? I suspect that is what is behind that text. Plus, don't forget, he is doing his best. Like a 5-year-old, tasked to clear his room up, but makes more of a mess than it was in the first place. And a patient parent says that he's doing his best. If you continue doing your best, you get to go to the fun park.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has
yes.
Peppa Pig
is the right answer. County Down. Hello, Sean.
I can't stop laughing, really. You know the tree, right?
The tree?
You know the one that's in Downing Street. Did they swab it round after climbing after it after the drunken party?
The one in Downing Street is actually a full and plumptious tree, whereas the thing that is our national tree, that scrawny stick in Trafalgar Square, that's not festive. It's not festive. Festive trees are supposed to be big and bright and happy-looking things. That looks like it looks like that tree's on heroin. Let's be frank.
I think it's got the virus.
Yeah, exactly. That's a diseased tree. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that's what's happened. They were all drunk to the eyeballs and started climbing the tree and they swapped them round.
Yeah.
That's what Tories do for you.
What, climb trees?
Swap things round.
Right. Okay, thanks a lot, Sean. Cheers, mate. I think I suspect that he was out of material. I don't know. That's my guess. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Sean. 0345 6060 973. This text says, if you count the baubles on the Rockefeller Christmas tree in order, do you get extra points? No. No, you do not. I'm not going to play that again. This says, the Norway tree is showing us those bright sunlit uplands that we have, which are pretty thin and as scarce as those branches. It's a bit torturous, but okay, on topic. Scott says, us good people in Edinburgh get our tree from Norway, and it's magnificent. I think you lot got the naff one. Right, I want a picture of the tree that they've got in Edinburgh. Where have you stuck it in Edinburgh? Right by Princes Street, I bet. I demand to see a picture of it straight away. We'll compare and contrast. Let's have Vance in Regent's Park. Hello, Vance.
Hi, Nick. Enjoying your show as usual.
Cheers.
Nick, you can find that type of Christmas tree in the remnant section of garden centres in Norway.
Yeah,
it's called a Brexit economy tree.
You can find it in February. It'll be one of the trees that nobody chose.
Exactly, yeah. But it's officially a Brexit economy tree. The other thing, last night you were asking what Johnson is good for. It's obvious, isn't it? He's good to be a snowman. With the temperatures dropping this coming week, all he needs to do is stand in Downing Street overnight, let the snow fall on him, stick a carrot on his nose, okay, and he's got the right shape, bulbous body, zero neck, bulbous head, and then in the morning when the sun comes out, he'll melt away and we can all get back to our normal lives
Wouldn't
again.
that be marvellous? What do you think about that, Bodge?
I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance.
Ignorance you're betraying.
Yeah, and one other thing, Nick, if I may. Johnson said that the December party last year, no rules were broken.
Yeah, right.
But he went on to say he wasn't at the party. So how does he know?
How does he know?
How does he know anything?
You can't have a party and break no rules if the rules at the time were that you don't have a party.
Yeah.
How are they saying this with a straight face? Why are people not... when they're interviewing these ministers, why are they letting them get away with it?
Yeah. It's just noise.
Yeah, it is. Just fill the air with noise, and then your allotted time on the programme will be up shortly, and then you can go away and try to find your soul.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks a lot,
Nick.
Vance. Ta-da. 0345 6060 973. I just don't know how they live with themselves. These people, these robots, these nodding dogs that get wheeled out on a daily basis. Their number comes up, and they think, "Oh God, here we go. What have I got to recite today?" And then they give them their lie sheet, and they just have to stick to it, under threat of being fired. I would imagine. There were no rules broken during the holding of these events. I mean, there were no events and no rules were broken while these parties were being held. I mean, there were no parties and no rules were broken. Painful looking at and the torturous knots they tie themselves into, trying to justify something that they must know is completely unjustifiable. But the regime thinks that if you just keep lying and lying and lying, then eventually we'll just give up. Oh, okay, you didn't have a party and no rules are broken. Martin emails, I live in Sheep's Head. Instead of a tree, we've got a stack of old tyres. Big tyres at the bottom, little tyres at the top, painted green to look like a tree. Stop moaning.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Well, when you put it like that, I apologise.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
You're joking.
Jim emails, the US got rid of their clown and got an inept sock puppet. Well... If Joe Biden had done nothing other than get Donito Mussolini out of the White House, then he will have fulfilled his function. Just get that man out.
Oh, shut up!
But he didn't. He did more than that. He's just put through a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. $1.9 trillion. What did Donald Trump do when he was in power? Apart from usurp democracy. He gave the billionaires a $1 trillion tax cut. Apart from that, I can't think of a single thing. Cozied up to some of the world's worst dictators. Will texts, my dog's called Isaiah because one eye's higher than the other. Listener with material.
Oh, no.
Let's have Newcastle under Lyme. Jill.
Hello, yes?
Yes, Jill.
Yes. I'm just wondering about last year's parties at Downing Street when, you know, a lot of people were dying. We couldn't even go to the funerals, for God's sake.
Right.
Who paid for the lavish refreshments? I do hope it wasn't the taxpayer.
Now, what would be your guess?
I would guess it would be.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
And I think that's scandalous.
Yes, it's scandal piled on scandal with this
but
lot.
nothing is ever done about these things.
I know. There should be people doing jail for the things that this regime has managed to get away with.
Well, I don't know about jail, but I wish somebody would do something
Yeah.
to put them in the place.
Right.
Because they're arrogant.
Well, Jill, their place in their minds is the House of Lords, where they'll coin it in, doing nothing for the rest of their lives, in the world's best club, the only club in the world that pays you to be a member.
Yes, true. Well, I'm leaving it to you to get something done about it all.
Yeah, leave it with me, Jill.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jill. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, who paid for it all?
Booze.
We did, I bet. I betcha. Of course we did. I mean, Bodge doesn't pay for anything, does he? Doesn't pay for anything himself. Miriel. Slinfold. There's no such place.
There is.
Where is it?
It is in West Sussex.
Nonsense.
Yes, it is.
Okay, then.
I know, because I'm there.
Where?
In Slinfold.
Slinfold, of course.
Very important place.
Is it?
Yes, it is. It's a nice little village.
Well, they should have called it something better.
Yeah, probably. Can't help you there. I didn't name it.
I suppose
It's a mad name,
yeah.
fair enough.
Slinfold. I don't like
Yes.
it. There's just something about it I don't like.
I don't know. There's a lot of places called something fold around here. There's cow fold and Slinfold and something else fold. And don't ask me what it's all about.
Well, I am asking you what it's all about.
Oh, it's some kind of Saxon thing. Anyway, I didn't ring in to talk about the name of where I live. I came in, wanted to moan about people moaning about the tree.
Hey, you know what fold means? I've just looked it up.
What does it mean?
It's a native English suffix meaning of so many parts.
The hell is that supposed to mean?
Slin of so many parts. That's where your place is.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well,
Slin of so many parts.
I guess not.
Oh, no. Somebody was drunk when they named this place.
It says
they've had a few.
It says a native suffix meaning of so many parts, or denoting multiplication by the number indicated by the stem or word to which the suffix is added, as in twofold.
Twofold or threefold, yeah.
Or manifold.
But what the hell does Slin?
Slinfold. I don't know. Well,
there's got to be the name of the person. There's always a name, isn't there? Like Horsham. Now that one I love. We're quite near Horsham, and I love that one because ham. The suffix ham means a hamlet, right? A village.
Does it?
Yes, it does. Hamlet means kind of a small village, a hamlet. So Horsham It's probably horses, but, I got great crack when I was living there out of implying that it was whores.
Oh, really? Keep it clean, Muriel.
Whores. No, the name whores. Some man called whores.
Right. Oh, you mean horse?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Your mind took you somewhere else. Anyway, listen, this tree.
Yeah.
Stop bloody whinging about the tree, you ungrateful brat.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Rude.
It's rude.
It's very, very rude.
Nobody, Norway doesn't have to give you a tree. They don't have to bother. And they did. And okay, a few bloody branches or things fell off on the way. Jesus, cover it up and stop whinging.
Yeah.
And we've got a much better idea of what you could do instead of the tree. Do you know what you should do instead of the tree?
Go on.
Stocks.
Stocks?
Stocks.
Stocks?
Stocks. S-T-O-C-K-S.
S-T-O-C-K-S. Yes, stocks. Yes.
Yeah. And I can think of a few people who could be in them.
Yes. I think of a few people who could be in them.
Yeah. Where
I know where we should start. Right at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Good set of stout stocks for that.
Don't
individual.
say it.
Individual.
Right.
And, put a few, some rotten vegetables or something beside, and everybody be queuing up for a go.
Wouldn't they ever?
Endless entertainment.
They'd be queuing for to the moon and back.
Oh, yeah. My idea, I'd be first.
Well, I'd fight you for it, but okay, you go first, Marielle. You go first.
Don't you think there's a much better plan?
Well, it would entertain the nation. It would.
Yeah. It would make everybody so happy, and the amount of Christmas spirit you'd generate.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of looking at a tree and whinging about it.
That sad tree. Stop whining.
Yeah, stop whining. Get some stocks. Put who in them, and let's all queue up.
Right. Okay.
And instead of wasting money on trials for the likes of that woman who was associated with the late Jeffrey Epstein, I'm not going to mention the name. Put her in there and we can flip and throw a few missiles at her. It'd be grand. It'd be a much better idea.
Marielle, you're a woman with a plan. I like it. All right.
I have many plans. Sadly, most people don't listen to them, but however.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Gotta go.
All
Thanks, Marielle. Cheers, my dear. Stocks, you say. Put him in first, you say. Any thoughts, Bodge? He'll think about it. Lentex, the Robin Hood statue should be moved to the pavement opposite 10 Downing Street. The Robin Hood statue should be moved to the pavement opposite 10 Downing Street. Why? Oh, Robin Hood. Right, okay, Robin Hood. Yeah, okay. Helen texts, have you heard that the government.uk website has crashed and people are stranded abroad as they can't download and print a passenger locator form? My brother-in-law is stuck in Lanzarote, if you please, says Helen. No, I have not heard that. I'll check on that during the next news break. Ain't that priceless? Stuck in Lanzarote. I wonder what the weather is like in Lanzarote. I bet it's glorious. Worse places to be stuck, Helen. Like here, for instance. Edward texts, in an age when we are encouraged to go green, we should discourage the cutting down of any Christmas trees. I've not had a Christmas tree since 1980. Huh. Well, I suppose so. I'm not sure it actually makes any difference, does it? Because, is that Edinburgh's tree?
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow. That's a tree. That's a tree. And they get that from Norway?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I'm really offended. Look that up on the World Wide Web, I double dare you. So that's the tree that Norway gave to Scotland. See, that's a full and luscious tree, like a tree should be on Jesus' birthday. Not the sad stick that we got in Trafalgar Square. Plus, it's dressed beautifully. Look at those lights. Wow, I'm mesmerised. And they've lit up the bushes around it, and then the castle is lit in the background, and wow, that's fantastic. That's how you do a Christmas tree. Now, of course, you can disguise a threadbare tree with an enormous amount of lights. Why do we have the same... It looks like the council spent £5 on those lights. Like they went to Robert Dyas and they'd run out of everything, so they think, oh, well, we'll just take these then. Last one on the shelf. Nobody wanted these. And then we'll just chuck them at the tree. Job done. It's pathetic, is what it is. And it's pathetic every single year. Why aren't people complaining?
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Apart from me. That is a good-looking tree. Are you sure that that's this year's tree? That's not like cut and pasted?
I think so.
Right. Okay, so now he's backing down. Tesla emails. Norway wanted to stick it to us by sending a stick. Yeah, I do think it's like a declaration of war. I think we should be very, very upset. Now, if they can afford to send Scotland a really nice-looking tree, then they could have afforded to send us one that looked better than that sad shrub that we've got despoiling Trafalgar Square at the moment. Thanks a lot, Norway. So, in the absence of the Eurovision Song Contest this year, they have given us 0 points. 0 points. 0, as in nothing. 0345 6060 973, text 84850, email nick@lbc.co.uk, and if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10, Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
And I can't stand it. Okie dokie.
Isabel texts, I need an answer to that age-old December question. Is Die Hard a Christmas film? Yes and no, in that order. It's not actually a Christmas film, but the beginning and the end are Christmas-themed. So it looks a bit weird when you watch it when it's not actually Christmas. So it's better to see it at Christmas, but it's not a Christmas film. Is that clear?
No.
Let's have Embra, Al.
Hello. Good evening.
Love your tree, Al.
Oh, right. Okay. Which one was that? Anyway, I agree with you on a few things. The Trafalgar tree is definitely good to shred.
Terrible.
It looks rubbish. I think Starmer should form an alliance.
Yes.
I think the government should really be pursued and track and trace. I think they should be. It's absolutely criminal the amount of money they spent.
What's criminal is that nobody has faced criminal charges. That's what's criminal.
Yeah, and they should do. I mean, the sheer amount, they could have, I don't know, it's like 10 aircraft carriers worth.
Well, never mind about that. It's just on that phone app that doesn't work, that's about half the entire budget for the NHS for a year. I mean, it just blows my mind how much money has disappeared.
If anyone, tried to price any kind of system like that, if they looked at Tesco or Amazon or whatever, I don't think they could have spent that amount. So, no, I think it's definitely criminal. But there's one issue I've got to pick you up on, though. Mm-hmm. The best Bond film, definitely Spectre.
Oh, come off it. Could be the worst Bond film. Spectre? What, the one with not Christopher Walken, the other guy. What's his name? The bloke who looks a bit weird. Mind you, all Bond villains look a bit weird, don't they?
Oh, they all will. Well, okay, I'll go for Live and Let Die as a second.
Live and Let Die? Well,
yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I mean, yeah, I actually like that film a lot. That's the one that the car does a complete sort of lateral roll, going over the Florida, the police person from Florida.
Is that the one? No, it's the one with the boat chase. Anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same one. The boat chase, and also the car does a complete, unless I'm thinking of Starsky and Hutch. No, not Starsky and Hutch. Bond, Live and Let Die. I'm pretty sure that car does a lateral flip. I think it's the first time, maybe the only time it's ever been tried.
That's okay. Well, we can agree a compromise then.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I agree with you most of the time, but the other thing I think hasn't been mentioned that much is masks.
Masks.
And how people don't really mention how effective they are, especially the N95 ones. There are so many masks available on the market that they're more like fashion masks. But if you try one of the proper ones, the disposable N95 ones, they feel so much better. They're much more protective.
Right. Well, but it's not protecting you. It's protecting other people from what you have. People still don't understand. I'm aware. I'll take it on board that you understand it, but other people, even like 2 years later, they still don't get that the mask is not for your protection. It's to protect other people from what you may have.
Yeah, I think the N95 ones are different, though. I think they do protect you as well, and you can feel that because they fit so much more closely.
Right. Well, the only positive thing about them, these days, is it keeps the front of your face warm, as opposed to the back of your face, which is, completely uncovered. True. Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, Al. Go check out your tree. It looks fantastic from where I'm sitting. It's Al in Edinburgh. Ein text, as in AYN. Please stop Brexit bashing. We are the best. Gavin Williamson says so, and I believe him. I believe him. Anything Gav says.
I just reckon we've got the very best people in this country. Much better than the French have, much better than the Belgians have, much better than the Americans have. That doesn't surprise me at all because we're a much better country than every single one of us.
He used to be the head of education in this country. Yeah, can you believe that?
No.
Now it's Mr. Numbers person.
And 1.
Yes.
2.
3.
11.
Oh, close. Gwent, Patrick.
Yes, Nick. How are you, mate?
Good, thanks.
Hey, lovely to talk to you, right? Listen, I just wanted to say this. Right, we'll have the 8 Z now in a couple of weeks, yeah? I'm looking forward to that. But you know the Downing Street thing, yeah? Right. So you got the Boris Johnson and all the rest of them. They're making the rules, they're breaking the rules, and then they've had 2 parties at Downing Street, apparently, and there's a policeman standing on the door.
Yes.
And so that just shows they are above the law. Although they tell us they're not, they are.
Yeah. You'd think you'd be able to hear the music seeping out the brickwork. Exactly.
I want to mention the contract testing because we've already had that one anyway. If I don't do it before Christmas, all the best to you, right? But I hope on the 8 to Z I'll be tuning in, right?
All right, excellent. Thanks a lot, Patrick.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that policeman. See now. The police person on the door, there's more than one now. It's not some copper in a funny hat who just like, it's not one of those anymore. They are highly weaponized police persons who stand outside Downing Street now. And it seems that perhaps they're, lending or giving a blind eye to some of the shenanigans that go on inside. But you can't fire someone who's brandishing a machine gun. But somebody needs to have a word. Jake tweets, "Hi Nick, I'm making a nice roast chicken dinner. Do you want some?" No. But thanks for asking. Tooting, Anita.
Hello.
Anita.
You have a name that is similar to mine because your name is Nick. Nicholas is connected to Christmas, and my middle name is Rosa, and Rosa Parks was a lady in Alabama that stood up as a civil rights activist, and Rosa Luxemburg was the Jewish Polish lady that said that we should be doing mass strikes to get change in government. She was a Marxist. Yeah. So I think you and I should collaborate, Nick, and get a revolution in this country.
I thought you were going to keep going with the links, and because it was Rosa Luxemburg, and then I used to work on Radio Luxembourg.
Oh my gosh!
And that's how we are, in fact, cosmic twins.
Oh my gosh! We should definitely do a revolution.
Yeah, righto. I'll be over in about an hour and a half. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect.
Okay. Thanks, Anita. You say you want a revolution.
Rock and roll!
Why not? T-Text, we do not need anybody's tree. We can use one from here. It can be any tree. We don't hack off the roots so it can be planted again. Well, it'd be a pretty tough tree to pluck out the ground without cutting it somehow. Something of that size. But he seems very, very keen on using a British tree because almost all of it's in capital letters, like he's shouting at me. Will says, we donated a tree to the pub next to where I sell trees. Oh, it's Will the tree seller. He says, if I heard any of the owners of the pub saying bad stuff about my tree without saying to my face, they'd get nothing next year with no warning. The tree would just not turn up. Well, that'd be super and fine by me. And Norway can stick it. No offence. I mean, if that's an example of the trees that we'll be getting from Norway over the next few years, then I think we can do without. We could just lay the lights on the ground and switch them on, just where they sit in a pool on the ground. I'm still gazing in awe at that tree that they've got in Embra. It's beautiful. Mind you, anything looks fantastic with a spotlit Edinburgh Castle in the background. I mean, just look at that. One of the most beautiful places in the whole wide world. Embra. Let's have Hitchin. Hello, David.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, David.
Yes. What would you like for Christmas? It could be booze. It could be I don't know, anything. What would you like?
I'd like my back, not my two front teeth. I'd like my one back tooth, which I have already spent £1,500 trying to keep it in my head. And I'm fearing that whatever he did didn't work, and he's going to have to yank it out anyway.
Right. Well, just send me the bill, and I'll cover it. I was thinking something like a nice bottle of brandy or something, but yeah, I can cover that. Now, what I was really phoning about, not the Christmas trees and stuff, was that okay? But yeah, sorry to hear about your teeth, but. I've got a quick story about teeth, if you can bear it. I'll try and speed it up in 2 minutes. Is that okay?
2 minutes on someone's teeth?
No, listen. Okay, right. What happened? There was a lady, she suffers from depression for about 40 years. Anyway, she wouldn't answer the phone or see any members of the family, blah, blah, blah. And eventually a specialist came into the house and traced it back to when the depression for 40 years started. A true story, years ago. And what they were doing, they were putting, they're putting mercury as fillings. And after they took the mercury out, after a week, her depression just went away.
Right.
And, but yeah, what my idea was...
So all that mercury was just leaking into her head?
Yeah. And that's some mercury is in the flu jab. My dad's 81. He's never had the flu jab. And what a surprise, he's never had the flu. But,
well, the two aren't necessarily connected. And I'm not sure they put mercury in the flu jab. I kind of doubt it.
No, they do. I've looked at the ingredients. There is.
The ingredients?
Yeah. It's mercury's in the flu jab.
Right.
And I don't know what... To how much level, and there's also dead fetus, and there's another.
Please, a dead fetus? You're not having
your supper. There's another 14 nasty things there. But what I was suggesting to your receptionist there is what I would like. Basically, I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
What's your favourite animal?
Ocelot.
What the hell is that? You just made that up.
I did, yeah. There's no such thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Mine's is a penguin.
Well,
what I want to do
nobody asked. Go on.
I want to get a T-shirt designed. Maybe it will have Nick Abbot, and send it in to the studio. And I want your autograph on it. And then
I'll keep it.
You'll keep it, will you?
Well, if that's the plan, yeah. Okay, sure, why not? Thanks for the T-shirt, David. Appreciate it. I'm getting presents. Most flu vaccines are given from single-dose vials and do not contain mercury. It says on this information that I've just looked up. thimerosal is different than the mercury that causes mercury poisoning, and our bodies process it easily. Does not contain mercury.
Affirmative.
It says here on the internet. I've got some more information. Partly false claim. Flu vaccine contains toxic levels of formaldehyde, mercury derivative preservatives. A widely shared post on social media.
Oh, fabulous.
Is there any misinformation on social media? Maybe. A widely shared post on social media makes the claim that influenza vaccine, Fluzone, contains formaldehyde and thimerosal, a mercury derivative. The post is accompanied by an image of a vaccine package and its contents with the words formaldehyde and thimerosal circled in red. This text in the post says formaldehyde is a highly toxic poison that, if inhaled, can cause dizziness and suffocation. I'm all on board with the dizziness part. It's the suffocation bit what concerns me. Some of the comments call for avoiding vaccines altogether. This claim on social media contains a mix of accurate and inaccurate information, as in... Liar! God, it's a bit long, this. It just goes... OK, I'll skip straight to the verdict. Partly false. Flu vaccines in multi-dose vials contain small traces of formaldehyde and thimerosal, a mercury-containing compound. But these occur and are processed naturally in the body and pose no credible safety concerns. There you are. Proof if need be, need be. Every now and again, this show's educational, isn't it?
Negative.
0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Certainly, we're having a party. A doctor fighting for an investigation into the rumoured Christmas parties thrown at Number 10 has said the UK's response to the pandemic has been blighted by the government flouting COVID rules. You're a flouter, Bodger.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Dr. Rachel Clark, an NHS palliative care doctor who lives in Oxfordshire, accused the government of leading the pandemic while using sneak privileges like parties that other people are denied. You're a sneaker flouter, Bodge.
I can't comment on that.
The demand for the probe follows reports from the Daily Mirror newspaper that on the 18th of December last, around 40 people drank and celebrated late into the night, while the rest of London, as well as several other areas of England, were under Tier 3 restrictions.
What?
The doctor sent an open letter of complaint addressed to the Met, calling for an investigation to be launched into the 2 Number 10 parties that reportedly went ahead last Christmas. It's been signed by more than 3,000 NHS workers on the front line of the crisis in the last 24 hours. The Met Police confirmed that they have seen no letter. What letter, they said? We don't even know what a letter is. Never heard of it. Case closed. Move along, or Priti Patel will slap your legs. Boris Johnson on Wednesday refused to deny that a large party was held in Number 10 in late December, breaking regulations. Guilty! Met Police Commissioner Cressida Dick told LBC News, sitting in front of our leader, Nick Ferrari, if you please, that the police force needed a letter of complaint to look into the alleged breaches of lockdown occurring in the form of Christmas parties at Number 10 Downing Street. A letter. Like the police is still in the 1970s. A letter? What, written on paper, you mean? While Nick Ferrari himself got increasingly exasperated at her refusal to accept that he personally was making a complaint. And what was she going to do about it? And she just said that she hadn't received a complaint, while he was in front of her, giving her a complaint.
Oh, fabulous.
That clip's still on the World Wide Wait, by the way. It's infuriating. And she seriously needs to do something about those epaulets, because they look like they're trying to stage an escape. They're supposed to be sitting on your shoulders. It looks like they're trying to. It looks like her epaulets trying to crawl across the table to seek solace in the company of Nick Ferrari. Please help me. We can't take it anymore. One GP who signed the letter wrote, in December 2020, I was working 60 to 70 hours a week doing telephone and video triage and running a large practice in complete isolation from friends and family. There were no parties. A health visitor wrote, I spent a year shielding. I didn't get to see family and friends, including my 83-year-old dad. I continued to work remotely throughout, supporting isolated women, some low in mood, some in abusive relationships. One left a widow before the birth of her second child due to her fit, healthy husband dying of COVID. To hear that the PM is said to have hosted parties at Downing Street disgusts me. Yeah, it disgusts me too. But I'm sure he's doing his best. And all that's true. But, on the other hand, Bodge did lurch outside to bash his hands together for the NHS for a couple of minutes a few times last year. What more do you want? A health visitor wrote, it's sickening, such an insult and a kick in the teeth to all those who have suffered and endured grief and loss. Well, as I've been told 1,000 times, people knew what they were voting for, and they actively wanted to be insulted and kicked in the teeth. It seems odd, but there you go. A health visitor wrote, if Boris Johnson had looked into the eyes of dying patients, like we have, he would never have permitted lockdown-breaking booze-ups on his watch. Only someone wildly out of touch with the reality of COVID would be so callous and cavalier. She said, if London's police force turns a blind eye to this latest example, I will be devastated. Well, prepare to be devastated. And I think that if he did look into the eyes of dying patients, he'd have still gone ahead and have a party. What does he care? Bah! Labour MPs have also reported Boris Johnson to the Met over the allegations. Neil Coyle, Labour MP for Bermondsey and Old Southwark, wrote to the Met Police Commissioner, writing that Johnson is not above the law despite his bloated self-entitlement. Yeah, you hear that, Bodge? That bloke says you're not above the law.
I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance.
Shadow International Trade Secretary Barry Gardiner backed the call, saying, if these events did take place, it implies there is one rule for the government and another for everyone else. Well, of course there is. It's what people voted for. A spokesmodel for the Met said, it is our policy not to routinely investigate retrospective breaches of the COVID-19 regulations. We will, however, consider the correspondence received. Yeah, consider it dismissed. Lack of evidence, you see. Plus, they need a letter of complaint, and as they've only got a pile of letters of complaint that stretch to the moon and back, there's really nothing they can do. Their hands are tied. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Santa text, would you like a calculator and some batteries for your fly swat for Christmas? Well, I don't need a calculator because my maths is excellent. Isn't it, Zaphod?
If you do the numbers, so just really a couple of things. One, 500 and about 100 million, and of course an additional 5.4 billion pounds. Now, you've got to remember, one, 5 million already, and a number of almost 10,000, including
I think he's run out of batteries. Sanj texts, I read on social media that some fool was saying that Norway had sent that tree because we had left the EU, only for someone to point out that Norway isn't in the EU, and the reply to them was, yeah, but they're in Europe. That's a good point. William texts, this tree is actually way ahead of its time. In the not so far off future, there won't be any trees chopped down for our fleeting festive focal point. We're phasing out using trees. Just so happens, by the look of it, we're doing it gradually. Oh, it's a phase, is it? They're going through a phase. Steve texts, if the tree is a token of love, it's a good job they don't hate us. What would they have given us then? Yes. Yeah. A social disease. Brian tweets, for years now, Donald has been blabbing about extra points. How many did he get? And how many non-extra points? Any? He never tells us. How can we ever trust him again? Fake points, says Brian. Pauline says, surely the full-leaved trees are needed alive to avert the climate crisis. Yeah, but they're very... I mean, as far as I know, it's not necessarily a green catastrophe, the cutting down of those small trees, because as soon as they cut them down, they plant new ones. And any tree needs to be grown about 10 years at least before it starts to, pay off benefits regarding carbon capture. I don't think planting trees is necessarily going to save the planet. I mean, it will make it look nicer, but it's not going to save us from, the impending catastrophe. John emails, did you know that Steve Allen went over 1 year to see the tree being cut down? Because he really hates trees. I see. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 11:30. The news headlines with Zora Suleiman.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Let's see. I believe I'll be talking to Colin in Shropshire. Colin.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Well, I want to just say to you, your mate Boris Bodger is doing an absolutely wonderful job of buggering the country up.
Right.
And also, what a wonderful tree we've got in London, I don't think.
No, I don't think. They have a wonderful tree in Edinburgh. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it. And they've also got a brilliant one in New York as well.
The one in New York is, you could literally see it from space. It's so lit up. It's absolutely amazing. It's, to celebrate Jesus' birthday, I couldn't think of anything better.
I think, Joe, I listen to you every night when you're on. You're absolutely brilliant.
Well, thanks, Colin. Cheers, my dear.
Thank
you. Appreciate it.
All I wanted to say to you, unless you want to go into something really controversial.
No, but thanks for asking.
Okay.
Okay. There he goes. No, I do not. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Woo! Oh, that was great. Did I get any on you? Oh, wow. How was that for you?
Very good.
Very good. Oh, I need a cigarette and a lie down. Woo! Leslie tweets, in Norway decorate their trees up and down, not around the tree as the UK and the USA does. Well, that's just another way in which Norway have got it wrong. Brett texts, that tree's like the embarrassing jumper you had got from Granny when you were 7 and you had to wear it and feign looks of delight. That's Christmas all over, says Brett. Oh, no. Oh, that's not Christmas all over. I mean, there's good parts of Christmas, surely. I mean, there's the big Christmas film. What are you going to watch this year, I wonder? I've got mine already lined up. I know what I'm going to watch. I Koyaanisqatsi. Groovy. I haven't seen that in a couple of years. My favourite film of all time, Koyaanisqatsi. That's going to be my Christmas film. I'm going to have to get another one lined up because that only lasts for 80 minutes. 80 minutes of perfection. But just twin that with something exciting. If only Mission Impossible had come out, the new one that he's been making for what seems like about 5 years now. That would have fit the bill perfectly. Other than that, I know. It's either the first or the second greatest action film of all time. Oh, this is a perfect combination. Write this down and you can thank me later. No, wait. I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
Mad Max Fury Road. Probably the greatest action film of all time. Terminator 2 used to be at the top spot.
Affirmative.
And now it's maybe the second.
Negative.
Or, maybe it's still the first, and Mad Max Fury Road is number 2. The great thing about Fury Road is everything. Specifically, there's no plot, there's no story, There's no love interest. There's precious little characters in it. It's just wall-to-wall carnage for the entire period it's on. It's great. So that's going to be my double feature this Christmas. There's something to look forward to, eh? Tina says, it takes a lot to annoy me, but people grizzling about the state of the gifted tree from Norway is dreadful. I personally would rather see the tree still growing, save the forests and the spoilt people who are complaining. Hope they never gift one again. Yeah, I hope they never gift one again, Tina. Quite right. Norway can stick it. No offence. This says, the carbon legs on that tree is very exhausted. We have so many suitable trees here, qualified arborist. Does that make sense?
No.
A little bit. You could, if you squinted, make some sense out of that, but can I be bothered?
Negative.
Not really. Chris says, no fireworks on New Year's Eve and a tree that looks like it came from the local 24-hour garage. That's exactly what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like it came from the local 24-hour garage in the middle of January. It's the one that nobody wanted. Poor tree. Sad little thing. Norway thought, oh, God, where are we going to send this? We could chop it up for firewood, but that'd take ages. Oh, I know. Let's just send it to Britain. They'll put up with anything. I mean, look what we put up with as it is. Yeah, exactly. Gwenny texts, the one on the mound in Embra, another annual gift from Norway, looks as great as ever. Keep your paws off, or we'll know who's taken it. I am actually offended. I mean, at first I was appalled. Now I'm offended. Because I thought that our tree was bad, but then when you compare it to the one that Norway gifted to Scotland, then it is like a declaration of war. Darryl says, Mr. Ben dressed up in lots of different costumes. Oh, from that was some while ago. Somebody texted in to see if Bodger Johnson had ever seen Mr. Ben. Dresses up in lots of different costumes, yeah, and pretends to do other people's jobs, eh, Bodge? As a way to take our mind off the catastrophic clown show that we've got running this country. Upminster, Keith. Keith.
Yes. First of all, can I just correct what you said about Florida? It was actually Louisiana that the speedboat went.
Right.
The car went.
Yeah, but wasn't the policeman from Florida? Or was he from Louisiana? Because I know
think it was Louisiana.
Because that policeman was so popular that they brought him back for another film, didn't they?
Yeah, it was in Venice. He went to Venice afterwards, I think.
Did he? Right. Okay. It was a good film. I'd like to see that again. Presumably they'll wheel all the Bond films out at Christmas because, you know, they haven't been on TV for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, the latest one's okay, but it's not one of the best. I don't think it was one of the best.
Okay, it was awful. I couldn't wait for it to be over. It was painful, terrible, awful.
It was slow.
Film.
It was too long.
Yeah, by about 3 hours.
I'd like to recommend a couple of others though, if you haven't seen them yet. Have you seen The House of Gucci?
No, it's brand new out. No, I haven't. No, I have not. No.
Yeah, I saw that last weekend and I thoroughly enjoyed it. As long as you don't take somebody's accent seriously. Jared Leto.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but
I've heard different reviews of that. Some people thought it was just the worst thing they've ever seen, and other people thought that actually it was pretty good. Like 4 out of 5 was the last. Yeah.
Lady Gaga. Did you see Lady Gaga in?
No.
Previous. Oh well, she was okay in Star Is Born, but she was very good in the Gucci film.
Right. I mean, it was Ridley Scott, of course, who did one of the best films that's ever been made, Alien. Yeah. He did Alien.
And the other one I was going to recommend was the June, the latest version of June. Have you seen that one yet?
Dune came out in June. Did you just say that?
The Dune, not the. I've never seen the the first one that came out in the 80s.
Oh, that Dune, right. Yes, that was terrible as well. The one with Sting in it.
Rock and roll! Yeah.
Absolutely abysmal. Yeah.
But the new version, the 2021 version of Dune, which is now going to be called Dune Part 1, because there will be a Part 2 in about 2 years' time.
Oh, yeah.
Watch it. If you're going to watch it in IMAX while it's still on the few IMAX. It's still on IMAX in central London.
Okay,
and
then.
in a couple of other parts of the country.
I will go with trepidation, however, because the director was responsible for the updated Blade Runner, wasn't he? And that was absolutely abysmal. Sometimes you watch a film and you think, God, that was awful, and you think, well,
though. Denis Villeneuve, he did Arrival. Did you see Arrival?
No, I've never heard it. I'm talking about Blade Runner. Blade Runner, the follow-up. Oh, God, that's one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. And sometimes you think, well, maybe I was just in a bad mood. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind when I went to see that film. I'll try it again. And so it was on TV just... was it on TV the other day? Or it was on my TV just the other day. I lasted about 5 minutes. I thought, this is an awful film. Can't stand it. It was that bloke just staring out the window. What was his name? What was the name of that bloke in that film?
I can't remember.
Yeah, exactly right. That bloke. All right, Keith, leave it with me. Thanks a lot, mate. What was the name of that bloke in that film? Ryan Gosling. It was about 3 hours of Ryan Gosling just staring out the window. What is it about Ryan Gosling? It doesn't look like a single thought has ever flitted across his brow. He just plays a mannequin all the time. Like he's totally empty-headed. He's utterly emotionless. That's what he does for a living. Express zero emotion for hour upon endless hour in every film that he's in. Apparently it's worth an enormous amount of money. I can express no emotion for hour upon endless hour. Where's my enormous amount of money?
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Oh, hello.
Hello. 0345 6060 973. Kevin tweets, we'll get our own back. We'll send them a Michael Bublé Christmas album. Well, let's not get carried away. There's no sense in beginning World War III over a tree. Bella tweets, are you doing A to Z again this year? It's one of my favourite parts of Christmas. Why, yes, Bella, I am. The A to Z of 2021 starts on Christmas Eve at 10 p.m. Now, if you haven't played that game before, I think you'll find it's a delight. People, as indeed do I, look forward to it all year long. I'm always getting people all year saying, oh, well, I'll call in with the A to Z. What I do is each hour gets its own letter and people call in with suggestions for the A to Z of the year. So we start with A and it charges through. It goes so fast. It really is a lot of fun. It starts at 10 p.m. on Christmas Eve and then every night until New Year's Eve, when all the difficult letters get squeezed in the 1 hour, which will be the first hour of next year. I'm sure next year is going to be much better than this year. But then I thought that last year too. Yeah, the A to Z of 2021 starts Christmas Eve at 10 p.m. with the letter A. It's a very good place to start. Phil tweets, having gifted us a 30-foot twig, could it simply be that Norway are tired of thanking a country the rest of the world hates? Well, they must be a bit sick of it. 1947. I mean, how many times do they have to say thank you? OK, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now get your own bloomin' tree, they must be thinking. I mean, it's gone on too long, don't you think? Can't we get our own tree? I mean, we've got no end of trees. Or we could buy one from somewhere that does better trees. We keep going to a place that doesn't do very good trees. Let's go to a place where they've got Douglas firs. Get Merca, to send us a tree. They do great big fat ones, as you would expect. Paul says, maybe the EU promised Norway a better trade agreement if they agreed to send us their worst tree. And on that subject, Richard says the Trafalgar Tree, it's Norway showing their displeasure at the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, perhaps. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, spelt so wrong, I can't even begin to tell you. I mean, if my life depended on it, I couldn't spell Solskjaer or Gunnar correctly, really, but I know it's wrong when I see it, and that is so wrong. It's not just a no, it's a...
No, 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 no.
Okay, very bad news, by which I mean very bad. Now, this is a story hung over from last week that I did say you should prepare yourself because you thought it was bad, but you'd have no idea how bad it really is. Unless the government steps up its efforts to address a shortage of HGV drivers, the drinks industry has told Grant Shapps that Britain will face a shortage of alcohol this Christmas. That's right. The prospect of limited drinks lines follows panic buying at fuel pumps, soaring heat prices, and shortages of items ranging from, but not limited to, consumer electronics to crisps and vegan sausage rolls. What a list! Well, I can do without vegan sausage rolls, and I can do without heating and petrol. But don't even think of depriving me of crisps. The Wine and Spirit Trade Association said 49 businesses, including Moet Hennessy, Laurent Perrier, Pernod Ricard, C&C Group and Matthew Clark, had put their names to a letter to the Transport Secretary calling on him to take urgent action. Now, keep in mind that this was from last week. And as those companies that I've just mentioned make just about every drink you can possibly think of between them, they should know what they're talking about. And, as you can imagine, the government leapt into action to solve the problem immediately. No, of course they didn't. They pretended the problem did not exist, and even if it did, it's the fault of the French. No! Or the EU being mean to us. The Wine and Spirit Trade Association CEO Miles Beale said, "There is mounting concern among our membership that unless urgent action is taken, we will fall deeper into delivery chaos. We are already seeing major delays on wine and spirit delivery times, which is pushing up costs and limiting the range of products available to UK customers." The Wine and Spirit Trade Association said its members had reported that importing products was taking up to 5 times longer than it did a year ago. Huh. They added that businesses which were previously able to fulfill orders in 2 to 3 days were now experiencing shipments taking 15 days to process. Blimey. How's Brexit going, by the way?
Brexit's going great.
Oh, Nige.
I'm a nutcase.
The Wine and Spirit Association wants Grant Shapps to extend a temporary visa scheme for HGV drivers from February the 28th next year to a minimum of 1 year to ease the burden on industry and allow for a sufficient increase in domestic drivers. It also wants its department to facilitate better routing of freight from ports and smaller UK driver networks for short-haul journeys. And in response, the Department for Transport said everything is fine here in sunlit uplands world, and unicorns leap over rainbows, and there's always honey for tea. Oh, and don't question us, peasant, or we'll send Priti Patel round. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
No drink at Christmas. Booze. That's right, Carol. It's all right for you. You're in France. By the way, let me remind you, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Yeah.
We try to solve people's problems. That's the idea of the podcast. People send us problems, and then we chit-chat away and forget what we're supposed to be doing, and then remember about 50 minutes later, and then try and pack them all in right at the end. Every now and again, we hit pay dirt, baby, and we do actually solve people's problems. Most of the time, though, we're just having a laugh. I can say without fear of contradiction that I laugh more in the hour that I spend chatting to Carol McGiffin than at any other point in the week. Even if I'm watching something like Dude, Where's My Car? And then It is a hoot and a half, and I think you'll love it. There's loads of them up there. We can't actually believe how many we've done. We just pull it out of our ear every week. It lasts about an hour. If you've got an hour and you wish to be amused, then I think you'll find it right up your alley. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. Now, if you want to take part and send us your problem for us to solve, then you must send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com, and prepare for a certain amount of satisfaction. And you should ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Now, it's on the Global app, by the way. Have you seen the... it is fabulous. You can download it for Apple and Android. Android!
Affirmative.
And it's got everything that we do on there. It's got all of the stations. And, of course, at this time of year, Classic FM is just so Christmassy. It's the most Christmas thing outside of Christmas itself. It is a non-stop delight 24 hours a day. I love Classic FM around this time of the year. I bet they do Oh Little Lamb any time now. I'm listening out for it all day long. But we also do Heart and Capital and the disco dancing and all of that stuff. Too many stations to name right now because I'll forget some and people will get offended. There's X, Smooth, there's Chill, Groovy, and boatloads of others besides. They also do podcasts. Wow, what was that? We also do podcasts on the Global Player. Loads of them, not just a few, a lot. In amongst which, the three that I do, you'll find. There's the whole show, which is, as it sounds, the whole show, from the Friday and Saturday night stints. One of which you're listening to right now. We take the news and the ads out, stick it up the internet. It takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and you won't have to start an OnlyFans site to pay your fuel bill.
Disgusting.
And there's the Nick Abbot Habit. That's the other one. That's a half an hour long. Clips of old shows. Best of old shows. Just the funny bits with everything else ripped out. And that is also available on Global Player. Ask for them all by name on an internet near you, or just do an internet search on my name, Nick Abbott, and podcasts, and it will all become apparent, like magic. I want to talk about parties. I want to talk about Christmas markets. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, Christmas markets. Because Bodger has taken it upon himself to keep everything open, because, after all, what could possibly go wrong? Oh my cron, we're all going to die. But Christmas markets is a source of never-ending bemusement to me. I just don't get them. So I'll talk about that in a while, and plenty else besides. Don't you worry about a thing. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, you're almost certainly wasting your life. How much time do you spend on Twitter, by the way? Too much? That's right. Just say no. Just say no thank you. I mean, good manners don't cost nothing, do they?
Be polite.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Some nobody.
This is absolute tosh.
Thanks, Nige. You're the best. Dinesh emails, do you know who else, apart from your friend Boris, attended the Christmas party at number 10? Can you find out? Give the attendees one last chance to own up. If they don't voluntarily come forward and are later found to have attended but not owned up, they should be voted out immediately as MP and also fined and given 100 hours community work for breaking the rules and lying. Easy, says Dinesh. Okay, leave that with me. Andy emails, the reason that the Christmas tree is so puny is because Putin poisoned it. Oh, me? Well, of course not. Why would anybody think this? That tree had it coming. Vladimir Putin, world's second worst person.
Oh, shut up!
Exactly. Let's talk about Christmas markets. Boris Johnson's decision to keep the economy open despite concerns over Omicron could be worth £1.1 billion to the Christmas markets and winter wonderland industry and more than £10 billion to hospitality. Money, honey. The city that generates the most revenue from festive markets is apparently Manchester. £306 million from festive markets. Pfft, rubbish. Followed by Birmingham, where the Frankfurt Christmas market brings in apparently £187 million. That's £187 million of candles that smell like mince pies and little wooden reindeers and twirly light things that twist in the wind. Who wants this stuff? I mean, who ever buys that stuff? And it all comes back year after year after year, the exact same things. I want to know where it goes after Christmas is finished, because they don't sell out. They've got no end of that stuff. Where does it all go? And where do all those fake Tyrolean huts go? I mean, there must be millions of them. They're everywhere. All identical. All selling the same tat that no one wants. All washed down with plastic mugs of mulled wine so sweet it could take the enamel off your teeth. How are they bringing in £187 million over the short period that they're open? I don't get it. Identikit, useless garbage. No offence. London's Winter Wonderland at Hyde Park is estimated to be worth £119 million. How? It's on for a month. That's about £4 million a day, maths fans. What are they selling in that brings in £4 million a day? I mean, how much is a ride on the big wheel? It must cost the same as a return to Manchester. Other major UK markets include, but are not limited to, Sheffield, £47 million, Belfast, £44 million, Glasgow and Bournemouth, £34 million each, Exeter, 20, Bath, 14, and York and Winchester both at £12 million. How do they come up with these fantastical figures, you might be asking yourself? Well, the data was collected by Where the Trade Buys, a printing firm supplying small businesses who attend markets. Right. The research is based on visitor numbers multiplied by £34 a head. Who spends £34 at these places? They've worked it out as includes one sweet snack, such as a waffle, at £5, one savoury snack, such as a burger, at £7. What, you want a waffle and a burger? How about skipping a meal once in a while? And 2 alcoholic drinks at £10.
Booze.
Now you're talking. And ice skating at £12. Well, for me, that's a no, no, yes, and no in that order. With an extra no for ice skating, just in case you missed it the first time.
No, 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 no.
I really don't understand the appeal of those places. I just don't get it. Christmas markets. Whoever buys anything at them? What are you going to do with a little wooden reindeer? I mean it. And how come it's all the same? Doesn't matter where you go. It's the same stuff being sold by the same disinterested shop persons. I mean, it'd be okay if it was, artisanal food products, bacon, and like flavoured rum and fudge and all of that good stuff. But it's not. Twisting in the wind light things that would amuse a baby for about 3 minutes. And then they tear it off their cot and throw it away. I don't get it. Andrew texts, the fold villages. Oh, this is what we were talking about some while ago. Oh, it seems so long ago. It's like a different month. Fold. I think somebody called in from a place called Slin Fold or something like that. On the fold villages, it is Old English falod, meaning a staked-off pasture area. So I'm guessing for farm animals. Every day's a school day, says Andrew. Yeah, educational every now and again, ain't it?
No.
Every now and again. Andy says, my tree is a rubber plant with a single piece of tinsel. I'm okay with it. Well, that doesn't sound very festive. Paul says, did that manky Norwegian Christmas tree on display in Trafalgar Square in London have to pass through any strict British aesthetics standards? British aesthetic standards. Yeah, I think that ship's sailed, eh, Bodge? Yes. We ain't got no bloomin' aesthetics. That sounds like French to me anyway. You can stick your aesthetics. Noel says, apparently at the Christmas party, Matt Hancock was the DJ, but he upset everyone when he kept playing Kool and the Gang's Get Down. Some of these need reading before actually reading out on the air. But, you know, this is all live, if you can believe that.
No.
Richard tweets, how many times has the government changed international travel rules since the first lockdown? Well over 50. How is a traveller meant to plan anything? This government is chaotic. Close the borders and be done with it. Yeah, you know, I haven't been abroad for so long now. I'm sort of giving up the notion of ever being able to do it again. It just seems like too much faff to go through, doesn't it? I mean, I'd like to go abroad. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Have some sort of life, something to look forward to. But I suppose I can't have nice things. Why is this happening to me? Brendan says the London tree is to remind the plebs and the peasants that money is tight. It's an austerity tree. Oh, for crying out loud. A listener with material.
Oh, no.
One of Number 10's own scientific advisors has warned that he would not feel safe going to a Christmas party in Number 10 because you don't know what sort of a social disease you might catch.
Disgusting.
I mean, they're all at it like rabbits over there, said one of Number 10's own scientific advisors. I may have that wrong. He may have just said he wouldn't feel safe going to a Christmas party amid fears of the incoming Omicron wave. Professor Peter Openshaw, a member of the influential SAGE subgroup NerveTag, said that the chances of getting infected were too high, even before the emergence of the super mutant variant, which experts fear can make vaccines significantly weaker.
Oh, no.
In other news, doesn't NerveTag and super mutant variant sound like something out of a Marvel comic? If only it were, then it might be exciting. Professor Peter Openshaw, a member of the influential SAGE subgroup NerveTag, said, personally, I wouldn't feel safe going to a party at the moment if it involves being indoors in an enclosed space where you are close to other people and people are not wearing masks. Even if they've been tested and vaccinated, I wouldn't feel safe, says Professor Peter Openshaw. So it's a good job that no one's planning any parties like that anytime soon. And as you would expect from this catastrophic clown show that we've got running the country, the advice is clear. No, of course it isn't, because the underlings are fighting over who gets to stay at Chevening and who has to go on TV and try and explain the entire government shouldn't be in jail now, and the dear leader is still dreaming of all the fun he had trying to squeeze himself into a child's teacup ride at an amusement park.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World is it has
yes,
Peppa Pig
is the right answer. He's the bloke that's running the country. Can you believe that?
No.
This is actually happening to us right now. We're not hallucinating. This is real life. Tory Party Chairman Oliver Dowden insisted that people should keep calm and carry on with their Christmas plans and parties despite Omicron, at which point practically every business in the land immediately cancelled their Christmas plans and parties. His advice was the polar opposite of other officials' advice, and it was all about as clear as mud, almost as though they're deliberately trying to confuse us. And you ever get the idea that the confusion is not by accident, it's actually deliberate? Like they wake up in the morning and think, what can we do to them today? Approximately how far can we push them without affecting our chances of being re-elected? It's like it's a game. Tory party chairman Oliver Dowden said the government had been clear in its guidelines. Like he's trying to pull a Jedi mind trick. These are not the clowns you're looking for. Yet one small problem, Tory party chairman Oliver Dowden is not a Jedi. Boatloads of ministers all said conflicting things about what to do and who to do it to. What's the collective noun for ministers, by the way? Is it a murder of ministers? I'm going to go with that. A murder of ministers offered contradictory and confusing advice. Oliver Dowden said there's a Conservative Party Conservative Party at Christmas still planned. And we can kiss anyone we like under the mistletoe because, interesting fact this, COVID is frightened of mistletoe. Meanwhile, government departments have been cancelling their Christmas parties or holding them online. Online! Does anyone want to go to an online party?
No.
The Department of Education called off its annual talent show, which was due to take place in person and be streamed for those working at home. The talent show was to see if they could find anyone talented enough to be Minister for Education. Any luck? Yeah, apparently not. None there. How about counting with Zaphod?
And 1, 2,
3,
11.
No. Better luck next time. Meanwhile, the Office of Rail and Road said its festive event would also be online. An online party. I mean, why bother? What's the point? The Charity Commission is also expected to hold its Christmas party online. Science Minister George Freeman says, I can tell you the Department of Business won't be having a big Christmas party this year. Nobody would expect us to. This lot are cancelling their own parties and telling us to have ours. But don't worry, because the government says there's nothing to worry about. And Boris Johnson has urged businesses not to cancel office parties and proceed with caution. Just as his ministers told people to cancel their parties, wear masks, take tests and not snog strangers. What does that mean, proceed with caution? What, swerve if you spot a virus? And this kaleidoscope of conflicting advice is, they say, trying to sell us clarity. Do they take us for fools?
Yes.
I believe that that's the case. I mean, there's nothing to dissuade them from that opinion that's happened recently. Tory party chairman Oliver Dowden said the message to people, I think, is fairly straightforward. Keep calm and carry on with your Christmas plans. We've put the necessary restrictions in place, but beyond that, keep calm and carry on. Always with the World War II references. They just can't help themselves. We will fight it with a Secret Santa, and we will fight it at the Punch Bowl, and we will hang the mistletoe in the air and snog the work experience if ever they surrender. And you might think the government can't get their act together to issue some concrete instructions because Bodger's popularity is in the toilet and he doesn't want anything to make us hate him more. As though such a thing was possible, Bodge? Pension Secretary Therese Coffey said, I think there should be much snogging under the mistletoe. Or I don't. She said, I don't think there should be much snogging under the mistletoe. Health Secretary Sajid Javid, Super Saj, said, people can snog who they wish. It's got nothing to do with the government who you kiss. Johnson's business minister said it would be sensible to limit Christmas parties to 4 or 5 staff, or just axe them completely. George Foreman, the Under Secretary of State for Science, said that he was cancelling his own department's party. And hours later, Number 10 urged firms not to cancel Christmas parties and said people are free to kiss who they like. Is that clear?
No.
What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973 Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
Holly texts, are you partial to a mince pie? I am. Yum. I can't stop eating them. And do you like custard? I like custard, but I like my custard cold, not warm. I'm sure that's not a popular opinion, but that's the way I like it, says Holly. Thanks, Holly. A little bit too much information, but I appreciate you sending along.
Thank you.
Andrew says, don't extract the tooth yet. This is my back tooth. Sometimes there's a fourth canal in the larger teeth at the back, which is harder to locate. I paid £1,500 for a top-notch endodontist. Is that an actual word? Endodontist. But I had to go back, and it turned out to be a fourth canal, says Andrew, who put his faith in an endodontist. I have a fairly good idea where an endodontist would specialise.
Disgusting.
And it's not teeth. Almost the complete opposite of that. Nick says, listening to you whilst getting into bed, my wife has just smothered her face in a new skin mask, apparently scented with Edelweiss. What the hell is going on, says Nick. I don't know, get Engelbert Humperdinck on the phone and he'll explain it to us.
Rock and roll!
Edelweiss. Edelweiss. Mm-hmm. Everybody sing. Nige texts, I've finally seen the tree. Those lights are something else. I've seen a better dressed crab. Yeah, thanks, Nige.
I'm a nutcase.
Appreciate all the work you do. Chris says, parties at Downing Street were not a surprise, but he's just a here today, gone tomorrow Prime Minister. He'll soon be gone. Soon be gone, Bodge? Not a moment too soon. Although the worry is that may be visited upon us to replace him.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
Yeah, please not him. Anybody but him. Claudia says, is it possible that Boris took the original Christmas tree to his place and replaced it with a second-grade one in the hope that nobody notices? With his track record, I wouldn't be surprised, would you? No, Claudia, I would not be surprised. Nothing would surprise me anymore about the bodge. You know what? I know I've said this before, but there's so many texts and emails and so on. It is a phone-in show. I know that people are disinclined to use their phone as a phone these days, and that's just going to get worse, isn't it? I mean, this way of doing radio, I think its future is uncertain because there's an entire generation of people who just flat out refuse to use their phones as phones. They just don't do it. I mean, the kids these days, if you called them up on a phone, they wouldn't have any idea what to do. You see them spend endless hours just typing away with their thumbs, proffering information that would take them about 5 seconds to say with their mouths on a phone call. They'd much prefer to spend endless hours trading information in brief bursts back and forth as texts. Don't make any sense to me at all. I mean, it's not social, it's the opposite of that, all that typing. And I've said this before, but if you told me 30 years ago that the number one favourite activity of teenagers would be typing, I'd have thought you were out of your mind. But here we are. So anyway, we've just got a boatload of texts and tweets to get through. The mince pies and the custard one. Done that. Thanks, Holly. Thanks again, Holly. Appreciate it. Have I read the thing about the tooth? Oh, yeah, the canal. £1,500 for an endodontist. I don't know why he went to an endodontist to look at his teeth. Nick says, listening to you, no, read that. Nige says, no, read that. Wow, I'm really getting through them. Jan says, why not dress the sorry-looking sparse branches of the Norwegian spruce to London with thick layers of fake snow to double the thickness of the branches and make a cheerful-looking tree? That's not a bad idea, Jan. This one says, your sneeze is how I imagined Ric Flair would sneeze. Who's Ric Flair? I'll have to look that up in the news. No idea who Ric Flair is. Any idea who Ric Flair is?
Some entertainer.
Well, that was a bit dismissive. That was borderline offensive.
Be polite.
Some entertainer? Rude. Pauline says, did you do the story? What story? What story are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. You have to be more specific, Pauline. Which story? I mean, maybe I promised to do a story some while ago, and I, as usual, just forgot about it until right at the end of the show, and then I ran out of time and apologised profusely.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Sedley texts, I have considered Johnson's performance in a proportionate and reasonable way. Taking a specific and limited approach, I have come to the conclusion that he is not fit for purpose, or anything else for that matter. Any comments, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
No comments.
Blah,
blah, blah. George says, I know you're a Beatles fan. Do you have any comments on the recent Get Back documentary on Disney? Keep rocking, says George. Yes, I do have a comment on the recent Beatles Get Back documentary on Disney. I haven't seen it, is my comment, because I don't get Disney. There's too many TV streaming channels. Way too many. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's worse than the Betamax and the other one, VHS. Much worse than that. Because you just got to pay for every tiny little thing that's out there. I mean, there's just too many of them. They need to get their acts together, or they all need to get, well, not bought up, because, you know, competition is good. But if I want to watch something on Disney, I can't buy the whole thing, and I want to watch something on Amazon, I can't buy all of that as well, and I can't, twin it with the Sky and Netflix and all of the rest of them. It's just a ridiculous amount. You need to be able to buy everything without having to buy everything. Do you know what I mean? It should be a smorgasbord, like a menu. Not a fixed menu. You shouldn't have to buy everything that's on Disney just to see one show on Disney. It's unreasonable, is what it is. Kenneth tweets, I didn't think you could go up any higher in my estimation, but you managed it with your eulogy to the city I live in, Edinburgh, says Kenneth. It is. I haven't been there in such a long time, but I can't, with apologies to Glasgow, you've got fantastic architecture, but Edinburgh's got the drama. And that smell. Oh, I remember it so well. I wonder if it still smells like that. The brewery smell. Fan-bloomin-tastic. Grass market. Canny whack-it. 0345 6060 973. Look at the time. It's 12:30. The news headlines on LBC with Zora Sullivan.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
You've got a good, your mind is a little bit, you know what I mean, three-dimensional.
No, I have no idea what you mean. Hippie. Here's a call in Brisbane, Australia. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Nick. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good, thanks.
That's the way. I'm so excited. This is my second time calling you.
Excellent.
Yes. Now, before I just go on to the first thing, I just want to mention I have a little mixed emotion dilemma question that I want to ask you just after I just cover my topic, if I may.
Okay.
Please. No worries. So now we're looking at going to the movies, and my missus has got some free tickets to what they call Gold Class, which is where you get treated a little better at the cinema.
Right, now wait a minute. Hold on, back up. Gold Class.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. What comes with Gold Class?
You get reclining seats. That's one thing I know. I've not actually been to it yet, but apparently you actually get like waited on, I believe.
Oh no, see, that's a really bad idea.
I know.
How can
I
people
agree.
not sit there for 2 hours and not eat? For crying out loud, people, how hungry are you?
I agree with you. And the worst thing is to, if you start drinking stuff, then you want to leave and have to do what you have to do.
Well, yeah, you have to wait till you wait till the love scene comes on, because you know you got about 2 minutes to rush to the toilet and back without losing any plot points, because they'll be doing the loving.
Disgusting.
So you got about 60 seconds, 120 at most, before you have to rush back and the killing starts again.
And yeah, so it was about James Bond, so that's where I go, because I've just been listening to your review of that, and you felt it was a little long and dragged on. Is that correct?
Terrible. I couldn't wait till it was over. Awful, awful, awful.
Oh, I suppose then I'll just enjoy the time reclined in the chair, if that's the case.
That's right. Yeah, just spend the time looking at the menu.
That's right. Now, it's funny actually what you're just saying about going to the toilet there, because that actually ties in with my little mixed emotion dilemma question that I have for you.
Mm.
And that is, when you do go to the toilet, and a perfect example of that is one whereby, it is a public type toilet where more than just yourself or your immediate family are using it.
Yeah.
And you sit down and the toilet is warm.
Okay, let's stop.
Yes.
I'll stop you right there. Sit down. It's a no from me.
No.
No, I would definitely not do that under any circumstances.
Well, the question would be, though, if the toilet seat is warm, is that a moment of mixed emotions where you're glad that it's warm, but also there's the...
Yeah.
I battle with that. I do.
Yeah, Steve, you want to make sure that you have done everything required of your body before you leave your home in the morning. Make sure you are clockwork, otherwise, big mistake, huge. And in the cinema, but they really should pipe the. I mean, this is if the toilet is in the cinema. The screen itself, rather than like a communal one out in the hall of a multiplex, but they really should pipe the sound of the film into the toilet, shouldn't they? So you can keep track of where you are.
Even video. I mean, why not have the screen in there as well? I mean,
exactly.
Because you've got me thinking then, because we went to the Australian Open tennis a couple of years ago, and actually, with the exception of the toilets, even when you left the main arena, everywhere you went, there are always screens that are showing the tennis action, whether you're lining up for food or wherever it is that you might be. You could always see the action.
Yeah.
Well, you've come up on a great idea. Maybe you've mentioned this before, but why not? Because that is a dilemma in itself. I don't want to have to miss the movie, but I really got to go. But what do you do? And that's all, and especially a movie that goes for as long as what this current one does.
Yeah, and especially if it's being waited on hand and foot, and people are bringing you drinks, booze. I mean, you can't keep it in for 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes, can you? Nobody can.
Correct. That's right, and it just it detracts from the experience when you start to
precisely,
nature, as it were.
Yeah, because if the worst thing is being in a theatre and if there's, even if they give me free tickets, if it's a theatre production and there's no interval, it's a no from me. No, I will not go, because I'm going to be stuck in the middle of a row, and about an hour and a half in, you can't think of anything other than you really need to go. And it just becomes painful. You can't appreciate what it is that's on stage or on screen. It's the only thing that's on your mind. And it just becomes a completely negative experience.
Negative.
And the thing with that too is it's an experience whereby it only compounds with every minute that goes by. It doesn't dissipate. That's the thing.
It never gets better. It just gets worse. Exactly.
That's correct.
So that's why. That's why.
Out there.
Yeah, that's why all films should have some sort of a love scene for a specific amount of time in the middle.
Correct.
So
it should be mandated how long.
Yeah, exactly. About 2 minutes long, or as long as it is required for the average person to leap out of their seats and rush to the loo and back. I think we should patent these ideas, Steve. We should.
I think so.
Yeah, get them. sent out in large numbers. This plan sent out to the relevant authorities, and we'll split it 50-50. How does that sound?
Absolutely fine with me. It's not a problem.
By this time next year, we'll be millionaires.
Absolutely. Almost challenging Boris for how much he has. Almost.
Well, let's not get carried away. All right,
and
thanks
we can
a lot.
have our own parties as well.
Yeah, no parties. No parties. Forbidden. All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, they should play the film in the toilet. That just makes perfect sense. Why don't they do that? But instead, you got, they play Greensleeves or stuff like being put on hold music. I saw it once, but only once did they actually play the sound of the film that you're missing because you've got to go to the loo. Why not? This says Steven Spielberg's version of War of the Worlds is on TV right now. What did you think of that? I thought it was all right, despite not being a fan of Tom Cruise films generally. Well, I am a fan of Tom Cruise films. I think if Tom Cruise's name is on a film, then you know it's not going to be rubbish. You know it's got a certain level of quality. Plus, he does intense better than anyone I can think of. You've never seen me upset. You know that. The one thing good that I'll say about the Bond film is Daniel Craig's pretend driving, because it's a bit of a difficult thing to do. There's absolutely no way he was doing his own stunts. I don't believe that for a second. Tom Cruise, by the way, does, which does make it better. It makes it look more real, even though they can digital a dinosaur out of nothing these days. If a bloke's actually, doing it, jumping across chasms in buildings and all that stuff, it makes it look better. And he does it, Tom Cruise. But Daniel Craig, I don't believe he did his own stunts for a moment. Not driving, not like they had in that film. But it always looks a bit wrong when they're, sitting in a stationary car with the green screen behind them, and the scenery is moving on screen, but the car itself is in a stationary position, and it always looks like that. Except for this Bond film, Daniel Craig did pretend driving really well. It's the best thing in the film, watching him pretend drive, which gives you an idea of how good that film was. War of the Worlds, that's a really good film. It is. But the only problem with War of the Worlds as a story is, spoiler alert, warning, it just sort of ends. There's an invasion of monsters from space, and you want them to be, subject to punishment. But it just sort of ends. An invisible menace gets them. Yeah, an invisible menace, like a virus. It gets them in the end. Can you believe that?
No.
A virus causes an entire population of beings to be upended. What a ridiculous plot that is. It's another one of those thousands of films that have been made over the past 50 years that predicted what we're going through right now. You didn't need to be a scientist. You didn't need to be a member of the Yellow Hammer scientific group that was tasked by the government to predict what might happen in the event of a virus about a year or so before the virus actually hit. And did the government pay attention to any of their recommendations?
No.
Not one single one. But you didn't need to be a scientist to figure out what might happen. You just needed to go to the cinema. There must be thousands of films made detailing this precise experience that we're going through now. and nobody thought for a single second to do anything about it. Still, I'm sure he's doing his best.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
We're running late!
Fred texts, I went to see the original Dune. I thought it was about time travel because after 10 hours, only 2 had passed. Yeah, that's about right. Terrible, terrible film. Really bad. I mean, the new Dune has had good reviews, but I would approach it with trepidation because it's the same director that screwed up that Blade Runner franchise. Shouldn't have been a franchise. They should have just left it alone. But they didn't. Of course they didn't. And they produced Blade Runner 2049, which was utterly abysmal. Shocking. It was like about 5 hours of Ryan Reynolds just staring out the window. I thought it was never going to end. And you had to wait about 5 hours, and absolutely nothing happened. This bloke, it doesn't look like I said before, it doesn't look like a thought has ever crossed his mind, just staring out the window. Until Harrison Ford punched him in the face, and I thought, yes, finally! Stanmore, hello, Tom.
Hey, Nick, I really enjoyed your conversation with the last caller about all these little inventions for going to the toilet in the cinema.
Yes.
I mean, there were so many, even Alan Bennett could write a play about this. But I have some great news. A solution already exists.
What?
And I'll be honest, I've not been to the cinema for a number of years. However, there's an app you can download on your phone. And at the start of the film, it says on the app, like, when you see this logo, click start, and then you put it in your pocket.
Mm.
And when it gets to a point in the film where nothing is happening and it's just boring or love-making scenes, as you were saying, it vibrates your phone. And it tells you, it vibrates. And that is the signal to go to the toilet.
I don't
believe
believe
you're in the toilet, for real, and whilst you're in the toilet, it gives you a synopsis of what's happening in the film at that moment. It says you've got, like, a minute to get back or a minute 30.
What?
And it's amazing. So there we go. As much as you could probably become a lovely billionaire with these inventions you came up with, unfortunately, it already exists.
I can't believe it. What's it called?
It's called Run P.
Run P?
Yes.
The letter P?
Well, P-double-E.
Oh, P-double-E. Well, that's great. It's like a dream come true. Excellent news. Thanks for passing that on. Cheers.
Very welcome.
Cheers, Tom. 0345 6060 973. Well, I am stunned. I'm sitting here as stunned as Ryan Reynolds looks. James says, did you know that there is more trees on Earth? There are perhaps more trees on Earth than stars in the galaxy. Estimated 3 trillion trees on Earth. Says it on the internet. It must be true.
Correct.
That's absolute rubbish. More stars in the galaxy. 3 trillion trees. There's more trees on the Earth than stars in the galaxy. Rubbish. I mean, when I say rubbish, I don't have any conflicting information. But I didn't previously know that to be a fact, so it can't be true. Robin Sparky texts, we're sat eating lots of decent cheese, drinking brandy, playing Last of Us through, and wonder how the hell is Boris and the Blunderers still managing to win, and what can we do about it? What's Last of Us? You can't do anything about it for another couple of years. I'll tell you what you can do about it. Just remember it all. Everything that goes by, remember. Don't forget it. You might want to take notes. Just so when the time comes for you to put your X in the box, just remember everything that's happened up to now. Don't concentrate on the bribe that fishy Sunak is going to wheel out. He'll say, I'm going to drop your taxes. Of course he bloomin' well will. Does anybody believe that he won't?
No.
You'd have to be a chump to believe that he's not going to do that. That's the reason he whacked up taxes, in order to be able to decrease them. You say, look, it's a gift. Vote for me. Jan says, I was flying back from Edinburgh Christmas market, and as my luggage went through, lights and whistles went on. They said I had a suspicious package in my case.
Want to score some pot?
I'd got my granddaughter one of these jewellery boxes that when you opened it, a ballet dancer turned round to a tune, and they thought it could have been a bomb. Right. DC text, if the MPs who attended the party own up in a limited and specific way, in a certain order, do they get extra points? No, DC, and I'm not going to play it again. Susan emails, there were some rows with Norway earlier in the year over fishing rights. I don't know if they ever got it sorted out, but could this be linked to the inferior tree? That's a good thought there, Susan. See what I mean about not forgetting anything? don't forget anything. If you can't make them pay in the short term, make sure you make them pay in the long term. Bodge.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Let's have Strasbourg. Jay.
Oh, that's me. Evening, Nick.
Evening, Jay.
All right. I phoned you last week talking about tarte flambés. Boom.
Oh, yeah, tarte flambés.
Yeah, and I hear the topic this week is Christmas market.
Is it?
So I thought, well, I don't know. I was listening to you for about half an hour and you're talking about Christmas market.
I was, yeah.
Well, I thought I'd chip in anyway with...
So what's a Strasbourg Christmas market? Because, I mean, that seems to me like where a Christmas market should actually be. You know, there's Tyrolean huts and, all of that, Glühwein and all that good stuff. Strasbourg Christmas markets. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they know how to do it. They do it very well here in Strasbourg. Apparently it's like one of the number one, one of the top 10 destinations.
Yeah, I heard that. But, okay, so what do they sell?
But to be honest with you, because you were saying it's a lot of tat, and there is a lot of tat. From what I've seen, it's a lot of like Christmas decorations, like homemade sort of, what would you call it, artisanal
right.
sort of
nothing you'd actually want to put on a tree. In other words, no,
I wouldn't personally,
right.
but I guess a lot of people would.
Yeah,
and apart from that, there's a lot of food, drink, like you say, the Glühwein, mulled wine.
How much glue do they put in Glühwein, by the way?
I'm not sure, Nick. I wouldn't like to guess.
Couple of squirts. Yeah.
But and you were talking about the Christmas tree as well. If you want to see a good Christmas tree, you should see the Strasbourg Christmas tree. They reckon as a minimum it has to be 30 meters high.
Wow, how much is that in feet? It's about 3,000 feet, something like that. Yeah. That's a big tree.
Pretty much, yeah. And apparently they use about 7 kilometres of fairy lights.
Wow, 7 kilometres. Yeah. That's over 50 miles.
Yeah. So apparently 7 kilometres of fairy lights, 400 baubles. This is what I was looking up.
Blimey! You know how many baubles we've got? Yeah. 0. Wow! I'm looking at a picture of it right now. That looks fantastic.
It takes 3 weeks to prepare, and I was hoping to go see it tonight, but we decided against it because apparently Strasbourg was heaving.
Yeah, I bet it was. Everybody wants to gawp at the tree. Look at that tree.
Yeah.
Have you seen a picture of our tree in Trafalgar Square?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a look about half an hour ago. I thought
Have
I'd
you
have
ever
look, see what all
seen
the fuss was about.
Such a miserable example in your life?
It looks pretty sad, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Jesus' birthday is not supposed to be a sad event.
Yeah.
That square looks pretty nice, by the way. That's a square in Strasbourg. I don't believe I've ever been to Strasbourg, but it looks like a place to go. Not now, of course.
Yeah.
It's blooming freezing out there, I bet.
It's called Place Kléber. And the thing is, tonight I work in a restaurant and it was heaving. And the word going around is that everyone's trying to get out quick because they think in the next week or two they're going to close down the Christmas market because of the rise in COVID cases.
Right. Oh my cron, we're all going to die. Yeah, that.
Yeah. And but on the other hand, good news is they're talking about maybe closing the restaurants at 8:00.
Is that good news for somebody who works in restaurants?
It's good news for me because last year it gave us a bit of a break. When we had we closed around end of October,
right? And
then they went to takeaways.
Well, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. It gave you a break. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm talking selfishly. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't actually own the restaurant; you just work in the restaurant.
No, that's right. But then again, our wages were paid by like the furlough, like it was in England. It wasn't it wasn't the boss paying the wages.
Right. Yeah. So it's like a little holiday.
It's exactly like a little holiday.
A jolly holiday in Strasbourg. Well, that sounds excellent. Pick me up at the airport. All right.
I better let you go, eh?
All right. Thanks a lot, Jay. 0345 6060 973. Everybody's got a nice tree except us. But you know me, I never complain.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Billy Tex, you just mentioned Boris Johnson's favourite snack, waffle. Well, that is a good point.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yeah, waffle. Mm-hmm. James says, I heard the next COVID variant after Omicron will be the terrifying Boris variant. Symptoms to look out for include, this is like listener with material, include old Etonian bumbling and blustering, complete incoherence, lack of any organisational skills whatsoever, and the inability to brush your own hair in the morning. Call 999 if you suffer from any of those symptoms. Keith says, I would plan all Christmas parties before the 21st. Remember the Mayan prediction that the world would end in Armageddon on 21/12/2012. What if the Mayan who carved that tablet was dyslexic and the year was 2021? Huh. I remember that from, was it really as long ago as that? 21/12/2012. That's a good point. I mean, who actually reads Mayan anyway? Maybe it was translated wrong. Maybe it's 21/12/2021. Well, the way this year's gone so far, I wouldn't to be remotely surprised. It's the end of the world as we know it, and we feel fine.
Rock and roll!
Right, I'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight. Thanks for the too many texts and emails. Can't get through them all. Oh, well, never mind. Better luck next time. Ian Payne is here from 4 o'clock, but right now, Clive Bull.
Thank you very much indeed, Nick. And coming up after the news, new polling shows public cynicism, 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 public cynicism,